Imagine yourself walking alone at night on a deserted trail. The deep silence of the forest around you is almost deafening, and all you can see, apart from the shadows around you, are the outlines of trees that seem endless. But then, you hear a sound that isn't yours. Footsteps. Something is following you. In this video, we're going to explore 3 real and disturbing stories of terrifying encounters during night hikes. Stories of people who, while venturing into the darkness, came face to face with the unexpected and the unexplainable. For many, hiking at night is an irresistible invitation to the unknown. There's something mysterious and at the same time alluring about exploring a forest when the sunlight is gone. But this curiosity can be dangerous, as these stories will show. After all, when we're far from the cities, deep in nature, what might be watching or following us is something we might never fully understand. A quiet, peaceful night can suddenly turn into an experience of pure terror. Our first story begins with a young adventurer who decided to go on a night hike alone. He was used to exploring trails during the day and, trusting his experience, believed a night hike wouldn't pose much trouble. But when he was deep into the trail, the absolute silence of the forest was interrupted. At first, he heard a slight rustling in the leaves and thought it was just the wind. However, the sound started to become more consistent, like soft footsteps following his own, just a few meters behind. He stopped and looked around, but saw nothing beyond the dark trees. The sound ceased. As he resumed his walk, the footsteps started again. The tension mounted. At a certain point, he turned around suddenly, and for a brief second, saw a shadowy figure watching him before disappearing into the darkness. To this day, he's not sure what he saw, but he never walked alone at night again. In our second story, we have a couple who decided to take a romantic nighttime hike. They were excited by the idea of spending time alone, surrounded only by nature and the stars. Everything seemed perfect until, halfway through the trail, they noticed something strange. There was a faint light moving between the trees, as if it were watching them. At first, they thought it might be another hiker, but the light seemed to change direction whenever they did, as if it were following them. They quickened their pace, but the light sped up too. They began to run, and fear took over as they realized the light was following them, always at the same distance, until it suddenly vanished completely. Disoriented and terrified, the couple eventually made it back to the starting point, and to this day neither can explain what they saw that night. Our third and final story involves an experienced guide leading a small group on a night hike. He had walked this path countless times before and knew every detail of the route. But that night, something felt different. At a certain point, he began to hear whispers coming from within the forest, and at first he thought it was members of the group talking. However, the whispers seemed to be calling his name, and the strangest thing was that they seemed to come from all directions at once. He felt a chill and realized that the group was silent. No one else seemed to hear the whispers. Trying to keep calm, he continued the trail, but the whispers grew louder. When he turned quickly, he saw a shadowy figure standing among the trees, which disappeared before he could get closer. Despite all his experience, that guide never returned to that trail again. These stories reveal the terror of the unknown and how vulnerable we are when we venture into nature's darkness. Each account brought moments of tension in which people felt completely at the mercy of whatever was hiding in the shadows. What these experiences show us is that, no matter how experienced we might be, the nighttime wilderness holds mysteries and dangers that go beyond our understanding. Night hikes might seem exciting and full of adventure, but they also serve as a warning that we are not alone in the darkness. Now we want to hear from you. Have you ever had a similar experience? Share in the comments if you've ever found yourself in a frightening situation in nature, or if you know someone who has. Spine-tingling stories of supernatural encounters or unexplainable situations always pique our curiosity. Who knows? In the next video, we might be sharing your story.